All right, guys, welcome to Gym Owners Podcast. We were in the middle of an off-air conversation. We got to dive right in here. Gym owners, welcome. Coaches, welcome. I'm your host, Tyler Stone. Over there's John Fairbanks. How's it going, John?
I'm fired up, Tyler.
We'll
Pissed off about stupid things.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to frame this for you real quick. We were talking about, and the subject we're going to get into today is about gyms that essentially don't have all that great or all that inspired of a product, and then why they need to maybe scramble to constantly market, and maybe that becomes just a general problem for them overall. Like a lot of things, we start speaking about these in the context of other industries. And I got one on the coffee stuff. You have one on breweries. So let's talk about what happened with the amount of breweries, microbreweries that have been closing lately.
So when we start to look at this, and of all the breweries really kind of exploded, and the microbrewery, that microbrew where now everything is a fucking IPA that you have to chew on. And for whatever reason, this is now the only beer that gets made in America anymore. And you had all these microbreweries,
like mostly flat. Somehow nobody in like microbrewery stuff has figured out how to make carbonation a thing, which seems like the most basic thing. But I'm dealing with like flat, syrupy, watery, fucking uninspired beer. It's terrible.
And you call it hazy, and then you throw on some like either fucking skeleton, or you throw on some like really psychedelic thing. Like, this is not a mushroom trip. This is just a beer that's just too sour and fucking just anyway.
Shitty beer, fancy labels and designs.
That is the sub headline for the death of the microbrewery. And so as I dug more into it, this was this idea where when beer gets started, like I'm talking the beginning of beer, right? As people start to really craft this, it ends up becoming this really intense craft, which is my favorite thing on the planet, because it's fucking priests that are just really in, like, it's the essence and the purity of these things. And then they're creating just fucking super beer and beer that still exists today. Like that's how you know, right? Like these beers where if you have to take the time where you've now fostered this yeast, and now you're going to go into like a fucking cave because it's the only place that maintains the proper temperature for like a Hefeweizen to be able to do what it needs to be able to do. And you're going to go deep into these areas, and it's only available one time a year. And it ends up being this really intense craft and like artmanship type thing. And now you have these master brewers. That's how it gets started. And that of course is not scalable at all, because this great beer is literally only available for a 6-week window out of the year, and then it's gone. And then we all get to wait for it to be okay again to be able to drink this beer again. Well, that master brewer concept then gets rolled over to where then blood gets in the water, and then the sharks show up. So zoom way ahead, right? Zoom back now into 2020's post, and you have all of these microbreweries start to open up. And what ends up happening
is that actually more like probably like 14, 15.
Right. But I'm talking the death of the microbrewery is 20. You know what I mean? And obviously, like, you could argue COVID, whatever, but it's the principle that matters here.
I drank a lot more post 2020 during
a lot of people did.
I think that's one business that probably should have done okay. It was a beer.
Beer and distilleries were deemed essential.
And drug dealers made out pretty good in 2020, guys.
Yeah. Mental health is always improved with alcohol, and the government was willing to support it. And the reality was you end up having all these guys that came in that they're not master brewers. They were just people that had money. They saw an opportunity, and they do what weasels and sharks and fucking leeches do to every single industry. You all have seen it in the fitness side. They come in, they create something that's uninspired, that's just dollars and cents. At the end of the day, it just is, what is the profit and loss margin? That's all they're interested in. And they just create uninspired, shitty beer. And the market responded, which was, hey, a new spot has opened up. Great. Now all of a sudden, a town of 30,000, which is where I live, had 12 fucking breweries.
Crazy.
And the ones that are bad, people are like, yeah, I don't go back there anymore. And they close. And this happened all across the United States. And when you really drilled into it, you saw, oh, these were people that were just trying to take advantage of a wave that was happening, and thought that they had the soft gym math.
Well, even aside from the ruthless top-down business, what's the word, opportunism that I think happened in that industry, which was a lot. And I also think there's a lot of like hobbyists.
Yeah.
Who are like, I'm going to become a beer. I'm gonna who weren't good, who just weren't good. I think that's a lot of it. It's not even it's not necessarily these big juggernauts coming in and churning out this large scale stuff. It's like a lot of people that just weren't actually that good at making beer, had enough money to make fucking breweries happen, little microbreweries, and it like kind of moves. But I'm not. It's fucking $5 a can shit for stuff that's not good. It's you will not last that long. And I think that is kind of what happened. Is you had these top down juggernauts churning out uninspired shit. But if you're churning out large scale uninspired shit and you're trying to compete with Busch Light, Miller Light, sorry,
Right.
you're just not good. It's not that it's so funny that I remember there was a time when I had friends who would like almost like laugh if you ordered like a Coors Light or a Bud Light or a Budweiser or a Busch Light or Miller Lite.
Uninspired hick.
You're like, oh, what are you just drinking that pea water shit? And now everybody it's almost like a blue collar term of endearment. It also makes not term of endearment, that's the term. It's like a familiar comfort thing.
Yeah.
It also makes it's a fitness podcast, guys. It makes fitness sense that your beer be 90 to 100 calories. Like all of these American piss water beers that these elitists will complain about. I don't need a 300 calorie beer that I have to chew on that makes my face scrunch up afterwards. This sucks. And people got real tired of it real quick. And I think that it fell directly on its face in the long run for so many people. But this now, what was the thing that I was running with here, John, with this? Because we had the breweries and then
I had a terrible experience with coffee in your town.
I know. Nobody here is going to listen to this. So I told you about this spot, and it's a place I used to work out of. I'm not going to say any names because I think they're nice people and they do a lot of good things in the community. It's a place that still is a lot of people's third place, but the coffee fucking sucks. It's not good coffee. They're not coffee people. They don't make good coffee. They push buttons and they add syrup, and it's not somehow they're even not like you can do that and it can be better. It's bad. And
so I'm going to tell you
that they have were so good. Tell me what it was like when you went in there.
Well, so my experience. So whenever I go to anywhere new and I haven't experienced something, and so this is going to sound silly because where I'm from, there is no Dutch Brothers.
Okay.
Dutch Brothers does not exist where I'm at, like not for hundreds and hundreds of miles. And so I remember I went out west. I went to Utah, and there was a Dutch Brothers literally in the parking lot of my hotel. So I never seen it. So you all know how I consume things, whether it's a new beer spot, a new coffee spot, doesn't matter. Is if I go, even if I'm by myself, I'm going to order 6 coffees.
Yeah.
And they're all going to be 6 different flavors because I'm never going to be here again. So I might as well be like, I want a smattering of all the things that people say. I look at the reviews, I see what people like, and I'm like, I want all of those things and I want to try them all. So I'm where you are. And so talk about Dutch Brothers, it was fucking awesome. Like every one of the coffees were great. I remember I'm like, Tyler, you're like, what the fuck are you even talking about? Like, this isn't even like, this is like, no, anyway. But I really, really dug it. So we come to your town and you tell us about this spot and the vibe is really awesome.
I didn't tell you the coffee was good though, right?
You didn't. No, you gave us no. You're like, I was like, there's a couple of spots.
We were downtown.
Yes.
We were shooting. So we were there.
We were burning time. You're like, hey, we want to spend some time. We got done doing the photo shoot. We were going to go to the powerlifting meet, but we had time to burn. I had the family with me. Yep. Like, hey, this is a cute little spot. Everybody will dig it. And everybody dug it. So we went in there checking it out. Well, my wife drinks coffee. I drink coffee. One of my kids drinks coffee. So it was like, so we got a smattering of coffees for everybody to try. And the first sip of every single person was like, oh, this sucks. Does yours suck? Does yours suck? And nobody liked it.
This is the hipster coffee place. This is a place that would look like it is the artisanal,
should be awesome
hangout spot. And coffee.
It was
blows.
And it was wins all the way around. Everything about the spot was good, except for the only product, except for whatever the fucking artisanal crafts that they sold.
Yeah.
Which was like, we're not buying any of that, but we'd buy the coffee. And it was like, oh no, this sucks.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of that now to tie that over to. There's a lot of that in the fitness industry. And I think that as a gym owner, as a coach, you need to understand where you have to objectively look at where you sit in this space, right? Are you trying to be a big, clean commercial place? Like, really, are you trying to be a big, clean, premium place that offers like a very high level experience that is high quality? In regards to coaching, are you a motivator? Are you a white glove type of person? Are you hands off? Are you very hands on? Are you very empathetic and connection based, or are you a driver? Are you firm? Are you like somewhere in there is your own thing? But regardless of what your thing is, you're in fitness, and so it should be good. Results, of course, are part of this, but also the general experience, I think, are what we're talking about. I would say probably 50-50, John, for you and I, is results and then the actual experience needs to be good. And I think that's, when I say the experience, I also mean the outcomes,
Yeah.
right? You're going to have the cleanest, nicest spot where everyone comes in and gets, warm rags to wipe their hands and faces, and, you'll oil massages on their feet before they go work out or whatever. But if everybody's fatter a year later after coming in, that doesn't really fucking matter. But it's the thing that we see a lot in fitness. And we were going through this with one of our gym owners in the Gear Academy yesterday. And we always, when we're working on acquiring new clients, this would be like his third full year, correct? Yep. Third full year coming into it. And we brought this up. We said, just remember, you're having to hustle really, really, really hard right now. We're getting new clients. You're getting tons of new leads in. So all of those things in regards to getting new business, it's working, right? But we're pushing hard. Not overspending a bunch, but he is doing a lot of the work himself and his team. They're doing a lot of the marketing, content creation, the follow-up. We're not outsourcing a bunch of it because this is a new business. There's only so many resources that you can spend. So he's growing fast. And he's hustling fucking hard. And the thing that we always talk about, this is what we wrapped up our call with yesterday. I said, it's the one thing that will separate working with John and I than working with anybody else, is that at the end of these calls, I go, okay, now make sure that your staff, everybody who's there when you're not there, all the things that are outside of your direct control, make sure everything is still aligned with people doing a good job, delivering a good experience. Because we cannot simply just escalate the amount of people that we're shoving through this system while we continue to do while we have a product that may be improving or fucking getting worse. You know what I mean? The quality may be getting better or worse as you grow. And we need to keep our eye on that, because you have new staff who don't care as much as you do. They just won't. It's inherent. You have new coaches who don't have as much experience as you. So now this becomes the thing, is we have to balance this growing and scaling and getting new people with making sure that what we're selling is good, because that's where all these other companies that are going to come in and they're going to give you 50 members in 30 days or your money back. Well, cool. How long does that go on? Like, just do the math on that. Do that for a year. Mm-hmm. Can you have 750 new members by that time? If this works, what is that really like? Well, likely you're going to lose 90% of them based on how this system is going. That's just probably the way it's got to be. I can't imagine that you're going to grow by 800 members a year indefinitely forever. If you can, cool, but you need to get involved in some fucking real estate at this point. Right. But I don't believe that those things work, because those are made to turn and burn. Those are made to get people that are barely interested and convert them in these kind of weird, misleading types of ways. And then the product on the floor in the gym is an absolute non-factor. And that's why you'll need another 50 members next month and another 50 the next month.
And it's important of like where this gym owner came to us from, because this is where a lot of gym owners, the ones that you know that you're good, you know that what you do works. And this was him as well, where it was what he did was working, but he was wanting and ready to be able to go to the next level, go to the next thing, be able to enhance his investment in his business, investment in himself on the business side. And that's why he started looking for somebody to help him do it. He's like, I don't want to have to learn it through 10 years of mistakes. I just want to be able to kind of do this faster. And I want to be able to have people help me. Well, he already started at a place where he was doing it really, really well. So when we came in, it was great. We're going to implement some basic systems, some basic principles, some cornerstones into the business that can be built upon, and leverage what you already do really, really well, and not fucking with that at all, and now start to implement these new pieces. But when you are just getting started off, if your attention goes to marketing and emails and sales follow-up and some of these things in an honest, non-soul sucking way, well, that means your attention is now over there.
Mhm.
And this was the piece where he had now done well enough to where we spent a lot of time in this and putting those things in place. And that's why it was like, hey, this is the reminder. You're now doing this really, really well.
You're doing so
And
good at marketing and getting new business and getting new leads.
yeah,
So
and it was like a 30% increase in population just in the last like 8 or 9 weeks. And for him, that was huge for a spot. But it was, hey, you're not in a place where we can keep our foot completely down on the gas and only keep our attention here while just trusting that what is happening in the most important part of your business, which is the actual fulfillment and the training and the interactions and all those things with the clients themselves, you can't lose sight of it. You're not a gym marketing company.
Yeah.
You're a gym who likes to work with people. So if you're going to open a fucking coffee house, I don't care how much time you spent on building relationships in the community and having really cute, artsy bullshit things. You have a really strong community and you have great connections and you do all this networking, you do all this stuff.
and
But you're
events, and you get people through the door. People are always coming through the door. Your location's great. Eyes are on. Like it's that you are a place where people are going to go.
But
And
you
yet-
forgot that you're a fucking coffee place. You forgot that the coffee has to be good. And maybe it once was. But now the kids that you've hired, the coaches that you've hired have totally lost the plot
Yep.
because you're busy shaking hands and kissing babies and doing all the things over there that must be done to grow the business. Yes. But if the cat's away, the mice are at play. And if you don't say, there's seasons, there's rounds of this where it is, we put a lot of pressure here and then we take it off. And then we go back here and we make sure that this is clean. And because this was the phrase that you used, Tyler, to close out the call that I thought was so good, which was, if you over deliver, you'll never have to work this hard ever again.
Yeah.
And the reason why that's so true is when you are a solopreneur, when you are doing this yourself and you are doing everything you can to over deliver and be awesome for your clients, for maybe the 5 to 10 clients you have right now, it crushes. They get great results. They talk to their friends. They keep coming back. You have amazing retention. You never really even think about attrition. Like all those things they're not even words. They're not even phrases that you even fucking know because you're just doing awesome with all of those things. But you then are over delivering. Now, if you want to be able to scale, you can't lose the fact that that's why you were successful. And if you bring in new people, new bodies, new everything, if you spend all this time on marketing and all this time on getting new bodies in, but the thing that made you great has now wavered. Now, exactly what you just said, Tyler, now it's going to be, well, fuck, now I need to keep spending on ads. Now I need to keep bringing in new bodies because now people are leaving. Things aren't the same. Now I'm dealing with headaches where now I'm like, was this a mistake? Was being a gym owner not what I actually wanted? I fucked this up. And that's where we want to avoid that outcome. And it's by making sure that you keep your eye on the fucking prize every step of the way.
A couple of weeks ago, we talked about that one fucking gym launch post where they're like, "Oh, you think this is a fitness business? This is a marketing business and sales business." It's
Exactly.
Like, listen, well, there's also other things that need to be done within this business too that don't allow them. We don't give them exclusive. This is a fucking cleaning business because you can't have a dirty fucking gym and you'll lose. Like, there's plenty of other things that go in. This is a people manager. This is an employee management's a part of this. There's all sorts of shit. Budgeting, payroll. I wouldn't say it the whole business about fucking payroll, but it's a part. And I don't like it when. Do not let a marketer tell you that marketing is the most important thing.
And don't let a fucking educator try and convince you that now you're a fitness education company.
Yes, that's and don't let somebody who's in the business of educating you about how to coach tell you that that's the most important thing as well, because your information and your wisdom isn't that important either. What experience are you delivering? What results are you delivering? And if you can do that and it can be effective, quality, and worth it, valuable, you'll always have to market some, and you're going to need to work really hard early on. A lot of the gyms that we work with and a lot of the gyms that we are doing consulting calls for, John, so often they are either just about to open or recently open, right?
Mhm.
Or feeling out their market and feeling out their ideas and making sure that they have a good leg to stand on and that they're going forward with a plan that's viable and makes sense. That's
Or they're
kind of
making
the role.
they're making a jump, right? They're making a jump to a new thing, a new building, a new moment in their business.
That's the role that we usually fill,
Mhm.
which is kind of act as your board of directors. We keep your vision, we keep the vision on the things that matters. Keep your eye on the ball. And there's a lot of this stuff that goes on when people are coming in to start consult with you, or anybody who's really taking your money, okay? Whether they're teaching you how to coach, whether they are selling you business processes and software, marketing, leads, sales management, whatever their bullshit is, their thing is the most important thing, right? John, we worked in the fitness education space. They're always, those people fucking, they always would tell all these coaches that, like, well, I mean, you just need to learn more about how the body works and the nervous system. That's why you're struggling to make money in this industry. If you knew more, I was like, trust me, getting weirder and more specific about shit that people don't care about, not going to help your business at all. It's just going to make you less likable and make your product more vague and uninteresting to normal people who want to get normal results. Okay. It's perfectly reasonable for someone to come in and go, I want to get a little bit stronger and lose a little bit of weight. Okay. Well, this doesn't need to turn into something else. Okay. It also
Yeah.
can't turn into something where they come in and they want to get stronger and want to lose a little bit of weight, but you're only worried about getting them to sign on the dotted line. So you sign them for their catch-all membership, the bottom of the barrel shit, no nutrition coaching, no guidance, no accountability, no opportunity for them to spend more money, which now costs you opportunity and money. And it also is going to cost them a lot of the chances that they're going to do a good job and be effective, that this is going to work. It's going to cost them the chance that this had of working because you just sold them into a product that isn't actually going to fucking help them. Come in and want to lose weight, you hand them a key to your gym. Okay, come in and exercise your heart out. But God, you can do fucking better than that, can't you? Can we do better than that at all? Like, can we offer something? Can you do that in a way if a person does just want, hey man, I just want a key to your place. Okay, well, what are you going to do that's going to make this a better experience for them? What is it? What about this process? What about your gym is fucking worth it? What about your gym do you over deliver on? That's a good question. And it's like, I'm smarter. I care more. It doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything until you're actually getting people results. All of those other efforts and all those other categories don't mean shit. But front loading, I do believe not only do you need to front load your hands-on work, right? Your on the floor work to try to make sure that requires so much attention early on because you're going to get a bunch of people in and you're going to end up with what I call brand new restaurant syndrome.
Sure.
Which is no fucking new restaurant does their brand, does their reputation any good for 2 months. Every restaurant you go to when they open for at least a month, like, sucks. Service is usually a little slow. They're figuring out the menu. The food's not that great. They all open a little sooner than they should because they don't want to sit there and just be cooking and preparing food and having staff do what a bunch of mock soft openings shit. You can't just do that for months until everybody's good at their job. You're just wasting money, wasting payroll, and wasting food. So what do? These are the people we got. This is the building we're in. We're ready. Let's start stuffing people through this system. And it's a restaurant can afford that because people can visit a restaurant and do new business over and over and over again. Hopefully a year later, people have forgot what it was like when you first opened. I do not go to a restaurant. I don't go to restaurants that often, but I will not go to a restaurant in the first month because I fucking hope that, like, that's me doing them a service, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're the
I
beta
go in and you
tester.
fucking drop the ball once. Like, I don't eat enough restaurants for someone to suck and for me to ever go back. That's not happening. So I give them a chance by giving them enough space to figure it out. And I think that as a gym, you can't afford to do that. So you just really, really need to try it. Fortunately, you're not turning over hundreds or thousands of people, thousands of orders a day. You're not in that space. So the hours that people are there on your floor, whether they're being coached or not coached, that process needs to be smooth. That process needs to be nice. That product needs to be fucking good and it needs to be effective. If it's not, you're done. You're already done. Then you're going to start playing this game where you're going to have to continue to shove bodies in one end of the system while your system just grinds them up and spits them out while they leave with a sour taste in their mouth. And then they go on to the next place and they go, oh, that asshole tried to get me into two-year contracts and shit. I'm still paying the amount of people that won't join a new gym because they're still paying for a membership to a gym that they don't go to, and they're mad. That's a lot. I don't know how many gym memberships you guys out there have, worked on selling, but that is one of the main complaints you get about the previous gym they were at, is they're locked into a long contract. And the other, it's also one of your main sales objections for those people, which is, I really can't join a new gym. They won't even go to the gym that they're paying for because it was so bad. They have to pay every month. They're already on the hook for that money. And they won't go. They won't go use it. They will guarantee themselves that they will not get the results that they came there to get, simply because they're butthurt about it. Whether it was the disingenuous nature of the sales process, or whether simply they didn't really like the vibe there and they're on the hook. John, I am paying for 30 days of Ruby Tuesday salad bar.
Yes, you are.
I am locked in. I'm not locked in. I paid for it once, but that is a 30-day contract. It's almost $2 a day.
That's it.
But I'm going as often as I fucking can because I paid for it. Right? I'm going to get my money's worth. In gyms, some gyms are so bad. People are locked in. They're paying for 2 years in this place and they won't even go. They'll sit there and not get results. They'll sit there and physically slide backwards for a year and a half because their first 6 months in your gym was so bad. Now they're just mad at you because they have to keep paying for a thing that they don't like and don't value and don't want to do. And you got it. You cannot be that. That's the number one thing that I think ends up making these larger franchise gyms and larger chains that do business like this. That's what makes them wear on the people. There's people that will never, ever, ever go back to that gym. They won't even consider signing up. And I bet you it's a pretty high percentage of their former members.
Absolutely. But that's part of that particular style of gym. That's part of the whole design.
Yeah.
The entire design, the entire business model is built off of, we do not want everyone coming. If everyone came, it would be impossible to service them. So we just need to have knowing that we're going to lock people into a multi-year, long-term contracts, because we know the Netflix syndrome. They'll just keep paying it. We are banking on it. And when it comes to, if that's not what you are, it's understand everything we're talking about. We're trying to avoid having you go too far down any particular lane where now you start to get out of balance. Because it doesn't matter what it is, whether it is education for you as a business owner, right? As a business owner, when it comes to marketing and running your business, you can go too far down that path and causes everything to start to get out of balance and get out of whack because you don't come back to kind of the central part of what you do. You can go too far down of education as a coach. If you want to be able to be a good coach, you want to be able to learn more so you can give back to your people and make them better and more successful. Well, you will end up going too far down that way because let's
now you're a turbo nerd and you're talking over everybody, flying right over their head, and nobody cares to learn the things you're trying to talk about. That stuff was meant for coaches.
And people selling a coaching product to you. Like and that's always understanding, like, what are they selling to you? Somebody that's trying to help you. What are they trying to sell you? And then why? Like and then what are they telling you to do? Because if what they're telling you to do only benefits them, this is no longer about you or your clients or your business. This is about them and making your shit their shit and making you dependent upon them. But understand this also goes all the way to the other side as well, which is you cannot become hyper obsessive and go too far down the path, which is, here's the truth. The truth is the clients you already have are the most valuable clients you have. Like the cost and the ability to make more money and have more success it's so much easier for the clients you've already got. It's very expensive to go get new clients. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, any principle, everyone knows it's something crazy. It's like 10 times the cost to make money because the amount of money you have to spend to go find a new person to come into your world.
In our industry, in the heating and air conditioning industry, on the service side, right? Residential, something breaks on your house, you call us. Our marketing costs, this is quite a bit higher than what it is for fitness, by the way. But our marketing cost, as it boiled down, our cost to acquire a new client was around, I think, like $245 to get a new client once. Our average ticket price for a first call, first repair, was around $245. So like you were pretty much losing your ass or breaking even by the time you got them in. But once they're there, you hope that the next time something breaks that they call you. And that down the road, that means after a few things break, that some equipment needs to be replaced, and then you'll make a sale. And then you can kind of be in that building forever.
So could you imagine if that company that you worked for in the heating and air conditioning, if your owner went too far down the path, which is we're just going to service our people. We're going to focus on our people. I don't like the whole marketing stuff. It's sleazy. I don't like the social media stuff. We're just going to take care of our people. Word of mouth will take care of us. This is all we're going to do. And the problem is that you have, for gym owners, you can go too far down this path as well. It's super. Go ahead.
Sorry. And in that case too, John, just like the thing you just described, is if you were to pull back and say, all right, I'm not going to spend on marketing. I'm going to only focus on this thing. It actually might work as long as you don't need to grow. But
Correct.
you need the new business, even though the new business may not be the most profitable beginning. You need that business to give yourself the opportunity to develop your new talent, to give everybody opportunities, to grow at least the labor base that you have, so that you can bring in new staff, so that when someday you do have more people, or you do have the phone actually does start ringing, even though you're not spending, for some reason the phone will miraculously start ringing off the hook, that you're going to be in a position to do more business and do it well. But you cannot just sit back and focus. Well, I'm going to only focus on what's happening on the floor, because then you're going to be like most of those gym owners and coaches that we know who are very smart and wise and know a lot of things about fitness. And then they just sit there with their big brains and wisdom and their 3 clients that don't get any fucking results because they confuse them by talking bullshit. And no new people are interested in doing any business with them. None.
And then what naturally happens over the course of time, if you open long enough, people move.
Yeah.
People get a new job. They move out of town. They decide, you know what? I want to go try something else. God, the gym across town, they've got a sauna and a pool in it. It's one of those big, pretty spots, and it's really clean and whatever. And I really like what you guys do over here, but like, I kind of want to try that stuff out over there. And I don't hate you, but I kind of want to try that stuff. And I don't want to float 2 memberships. So I'm going to be gone now. I'm going to leave now. Or your coach gets married. Your coach leaves. Your coach goes back to school. Whatever happens now, what ends up happening is that if you've lived too long in well, I'm busy being busy, I don't have time to look at all this stuff, you are slow. What you're doing is you're dying. You're dying a slow death. And it's not obvious until it becomes obvious, because there's fires that are all burning, but they're under the surface. And anybody that's wise, right, for us, you bring us in and we're like, there's a lot of smoke everywhere. Do you not see this? And it becomes really apparent and really obvious as soon as one of those things that's been holding it all together, the coach you've had for a while, the GM you've had for a while, the fact that you've had all these clients, and then one of them goes, and then immediately it's a fucking emergency. And that tells you you've been living too long in this one spot. So it is this constant push and pull and growth where we're not, and you all know, and what's silly about this is we're talking about it from a business standpoint, but it's, you all know this to be true when it comes to like just you working out. Tyler, could you imagine if like we went to the gym every day and all we did was benched?
Tried it.
Like, that's it, right? We're benching all the fucking time.
Yeah.
What ends up happening is things start kind of getting a little achy and a little weird. And then eventually like an injury, and all of a sudden it's like, and then you look like every other like the fucking fight, where it's like, do these guys ever train legs? Is this just a chicken leg fight thing going on? This is really bizarre.
Yeah, I think, and in regards to this thing, the point that we just made was that like you do actually need to market, because you do need to grow, right? Which means then we are telling you to make sure you keep your eye on the prize and you deliver a good product, but that doesn't mean you can neglect growth, because in the beginning, if your product is good, I hope it is, right? You're the brewery, you're the coffee shop, You got good beer, you got a passion for it, great. Scaling does not just require slamming more people into this singular thing that you do, because you have to actually scale up your ability to do that thing on a larger scale. It's not just drawing more business in. It's can I go from making 2 kegs a week to 500 and not have the quality suck, while simultaneously having that be in response to a demand that I'm trying to increase and grow. Okay. That is the process we're trying to get through here. And so you cannot just neglect marketing, but a lot of the stuff that's going on in the consulting space out here in the fitness business coaching space, it's now just marketing and ads, marketing and ads. So they'll tell you that, I'm not telling you to spend money making sure, like a ton of money. I'm not telling you to spend thousands and thousands of dollars a month so that, like, what does it really take to just check up on your coach? It's like a meeting, couple hours a week. Make sure that you're having some meetings or you're doing some touch points. You're at least paying attention to client results, client experience, you're communicating with your coaches, not just about them, about the clients that they're working with, right? About their goals, about what's stopping them, about like just it's just a little bit of nurturing. It's not that fucking hard, but you cannot just start piling a bunch of money into getting new bodies through. Once you do that, now you have a shitload of bodies coming through, and you're not in a position to make sure that the last 2 coaches you hired are good or give a shit. John, I see personal trainers around here, right? I was talking to one of my clients the other day, and I was joking around. We said something about, he said something about hiring me or whatever. I've worked with this guy for a couple of years. And I said, well, I thought you just hired me because I was the most handsome personal trainer. Right. And he kind of goes, honestly, I don't know that I know of any other personal trainers.
You were the only option available.
But let's break this down.
Yeah.
I go to our local YMCA. There's a list of like 9 people that are on their list of personal trainers. None of them are actually personal trainers, John. They're just, it's their version of selling Herbalife or some shit. It's just some moms that got a certification and they don't get anything else to do. You know how many clients they have? None. And they haven't had any in years, but they're just on the list. They're just on the spot there. My wife, me. There's a few others around that do literally maybe 1 or 2 hours a week, tops maybe. I never, ever hear of them. I never see them promote anything. None of my clients have any idea that these people fucking exist. None. Absolutely none. So there's nobody actually even bothering with the marketing that honestly, if I wasn't good at what I did, I could still get so much business because I'm the only one fucking people think of. The only one. You're looking for, if you're a man looking for some coaching, or a woman, our last name is the one that comes up in this area because nobody else seems to publicly be about that life. Okay. I could suck and it would work until it doesn't.
Right.
Until all these people who I have now are not going to stick with me because I suck. I don't get results. I'm annoying, or I don't care, or I don't know anything, or I'm late all the time, or all these other problems that I see from a lot of these fly-by-night people that kind of pop up and dip their toes in it. They're not good. And so they don't bother marketing because they're just not that good. And they don't want to be on the hook for a bunch of bad experiences for people. They'd rather just kind of say in passing that they are a personal trainer, maybe sort of, or whatever. Like I'm a fit mom, I'm a personal trainer, kind of. How many clients you have? Fucking zero. You know what I mean? There's a ton of that going around, but these are non-professionals who don't market, and they're not really paying any attention to the product on the ground because there isn't any. So these people don't even know any other trainers in this area. None. Why do I market so hard? Like, why do I make sure that I'm putting content out there? Because I'm already like at a certain level of being busy, right? I have enough clients. When I try to make a push though, I need to have this stuff queued up so that my products are ready to go, so that if I am selling more time, that's ready to rock and roll. But this is the time when you should both be marketing heavy, right? Until you're completely established and completely like you can sit back and coast a little bit on your marketing when your schedule's full, when your only other option is to scale up with a different product or to launch something new, right? Then you need to be able to queue up some new shit. But for the most part, at this point, I am still trying to grow, the name and trying to do the thing and try to get my clients with the time that I have, get high value clients. This amount of content creation is not actually that necessary for the point that I'm in, that I'm at, but I can do it because I have learned to do it, and I learned to do it early on. And for those of you that are starting, you know how much money it's going to cost you to like put your put the pedal to the metal on your marketing, content creation, photography, videography, whether you're a personal trainer or a gym. Like, that's an entirely different business. It is either going to be a line item on your budget that's going to be way, way more expensive than you think it should be, or you're just going to have to kind of speak to this from the trenches while you're learning how to do this. And you're going to have to learn how to market. You're going to have to come up with a plan, and you're going to have to make some content and then learn to delegate some of that stuff out. Early on, you have to hustle all of these things.
It's time.
It is all on you. It's time. And then once that time needs to start shifting away because you're actually created a product that is valuable, that people want, that people pay for, then take your time, let people pay you good money for that. And then you can pay good money for people to go about the marketing. But early on, guys, you got to be pedal to the metal on both of these things. It can't be all or nothing, all one or the other. It's got to be both of them kind of full steam ahead.
And what's nice is if you're a gym owner and you're lucky enough, you have coaches. Let's say you have, because Tyler, your example is coming from being a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Right. Your wife, you, me, we're personal trainers that then are mirroring. If this isn't, and please understand, like, what we're going to do is what we talk about and what we work with gym owners on, we also walk the walk in an essence of what we know you can be implementing in your spot. Not only is it with the gyms that we've actually worked with and that we've implemented these things and had success with, but also when we talk about how you want to be able to position the staff that you have and weaponize them to not only make them successful, but also then makes your business successful. We're speaking that from our experience as well. That's why we do both. And so if you're a gym owner and you're lucky enough to have personal trainers, and let's say that you actually have done a great job, because Tyler, we've had gym owners that we've worked with that do an amazing job when it comes to training their staff.
Correct.
Right. We met with, you go back into the archive and listen to any of our episodes with Dylan Harris out of Missouri. Right. Dylan did an amazing job having really good coaches that were fully bought in, that were like essentially salaried lifetime level coaches, that then he also built in amazing feeder programs through the local universities to give them interns that when they were ready to graduate came to him to then work as a coach. So he had this feeder program and had this nice, robust system of how he made sure that every coach, every personal trainer that coached a high-end white glove level treatment coaching program with their clients was exactly where he wanted it to be. So that was highly, highly efficient. So once you are there, now the question is, are your personal trainers, are your coaches doing what's necessary when it comes to finding their clients and having their services being done the right way, the way we mirror and do how you become a successful personal trainer?
Yeah.
Because that allows you now as the gym owners, if you know that you can run the gym as a business and you can focus on all the business side, because it's so on lockdown that the quality of product, right, that you are providing to every client that walks through your doors is as high as it can be. You're over delivering with every single person. Well, you need to make sure that those personal trainers and those coaches you have, they're doing the lifting too. Because this is what happens. If they don't, and you've put a lot of time into these people, but they are not doing the basics, the fundamentals, the simple steps that allow them to continue to get a pipeline of clients that are coming in, they have wait lists, they will leave. Mm-hmm. And now you've invested tons of time in this person, but because you did not empower them to be able to treat what they do like a fucking entrepreneur and like they are a business owner themselves within their own product, which is them, they will just be eventually like, I'm not making enough money, and they're not going to pay. Like, it's now you're going to be hooked.
Those are low value employees, right?
But are you allowing them to be that though?
Low value employee. No, I don't think they should. Low value is low value to you.
Exactly.
That's what I mean. It's like, what do you bring to the table? And if you're trying to hire professionals in this business to be a professional, they need all of the soft and personal skills like that go into coaching. They also need a systemic approach and a philosophy that you can maybe help them with, right? Sort of in regards to marketing and in regards to client results, right? It's coaching, nutrition, like you have people, like there's some of that stuff you can equip them with tools that will help, but not all of them want that. a lot of them want to rest on they want to, you're watching this. Here's what most people, when they come out of college, okay, and they get their exercise science degree, this is exactly what they envision their job when they get to work at a gym. Okay, let me just watch this and lean back here.
So Tyler's leaning back, crossing his legs,
feet on the fucking desk.
Feet on the desk.
That's it. That's what they hope. It's a hangout job. It's a fucking hanging out job. Scrolling on the phone job, sitting around checking out chicks in the gym type job. That's what these guys think of when they come out of this. Or they maybe hope that they just can go to school for 2 more years, not get back to paying out the loans, get a master's, and then just go into fucking administration or some bullshit. You know what I mean? Like there's not a ton of people that are coming to this with a real passion for the job. And I can tell because I see it. And it sucks. It's you, however, as the gym owner, need to identify high value potential or low value potential when you're bringing staff in. I think it's a huge one. If I can hire people at almost any place and I can go, this guy will be great at cleaning the floors as long as somebody watches him do it the whole time and make sure he doesn't half-ass it. And that's about it. Mm-hmm. Right. There's some people that are like, okay, what's this worth to you? Well, not a lot. Okay. How much of your brand exposure do you want to go through people's experiences with him? Yeah, not much. Right. Let's hide this motherfucker. Right. That ends up being someone who you can't keep around. You do not want to pay that much money. You do not want to put a lot of eggs in that basket in regards to training or developing them. And you do got to know that early on. You know, Dylan did a really good job trying to actually reverse engineer this a little bit because he had staff. Mm-hmm. Had them and he paid them and he brought them on. It was like shit. But he was losing his ass. He was losing his ass on them in the beginning. Right. Yeah. So what he set up was a system for actually I will market for you if you help market yourself as well. These other tasks that they had to do, social media, things like this, I'm going to guide you. I'm going to give you the tools. I'm going to hold you accountable to this process. So it became, he had to be a little more hands-on to get them up and running. But then these guys were, boom, their schedules are full. Their programs are full. Now he had to bring on new coaches, and every new one he got on, he now knew these systems you could scale out and boom, their schedule's full. Now you're like, any new coach I bring on, I just make an extra $5,000 a month. I guess I just need to keep bringing on new coach because now he's figured out actually how to scale, not just how to sell, how to scale. Because you cannot just run bodies through a shitty product, right? Or run bodies through a product that it gets so diluted that it just can't really be that good. Okay, so as you grow, you need to grow your capacity to fulfill while still maintaining quality control. And that's hard. And that requires vision. And this is the thing that will separate a real gym owner and a real coach who gives a fuck from those that don't, because they won't care. And you can smell it on these other consultants' bullshit when they come out here. It's all this singular commodity. Well, that ain't fucking how this business works. It's just not how this business works.
And for me, what really draws the line in the sand is learning is free. Now you can pay to learn, right? There's an entire robust secondary education system in this country that relies on you paying for knowledge. But the reality is that you can pay to learn, but learning is not where it ends. And this is one of those pieces that's really important where it is, you could pay us to work with you and we could tell you all the things and you can learn these new things. And that's great. And what's nice is that that's not a forever relationship. The real big difference is if somebody puts it in a spot where they're not teaching you how, they're just doing it for you, or they're just doing the what and they're not teaching you how to do it. That is the equivalent of either you're going to teach a man to fish or you're going to give a man to fish. So if you're just being given the fish, you're going to guarantee a situation in which you will never be able to do this on your own. For us, it's a big piece where I want you to know how to do this and why you're doing it so that you can then do this when it's necessary, because it's the ebbs and flows. It's going to be a time period where it's time to do this. And then there's going to be a time where you no longer do that thing, but you know how to do it. So when it's time to turn it on, you can turn it on and execute really, really well. But knowing is not enough. The big difference maker is you can know all the things and you can go through the mental masturbation exercise as a gym owner and a personal trainer. But if you never do the doing the doing is where we separate the men from the boys.
Yeah.
Dylan did the doing. Gym owners that do the doing, finally, that's where you don't need to have somebody. You don't need to keep at some point, the coaches, Tyler, the gym owners that we worked with when we worked for the fitness education company, where it was they eventually got to a point where they're like, hey, I've learned all the things that I think I need to learn right now. I'm going to go execute some of these things. I'm actually going to go do them.
Yep.
And they didn't worry about what other things that were being taught, because it's great. I have enough. I want to go ride with this for a little bit. And then they were very successful and they ran with those things and they made it their own. And that is,
What about the
that-
ones that stayed stuck in the learning vortex? How did those businesses turn out? Those careers? People
They
are still posing, flailing around.
Yeah.
Trying to be inside some fucking network of posers pretending to be fitness educators now at this point. They're pretend coaches who don't make enough money coaching, who are trying to do this other shit. These are essentially failed coaches and failed business owners. So don't get stuck in that vortex where you need to learn. Get there and do. I want to talk about somebody who I would give a little shout out to, one of our guys from he's been following the show for quite some time, but Micah Morgan.
Oh, Micah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Out
So
of
he's been
Tampa.
talking
Florida.
about the doing. This is a dude who has done his M Morgan 6, I believe, is on Instagram. Make sure I got it right here.
Yeah.
He's got a few other brands and some other stuff here. Also created the Strength of Seduction, his personal trainer. But one of the things that this guy's done pretty well since the beginning, he's never paid us any money, by the way. Fucking Micah, get it together. But no, he's like, no, you know what I mean? Like, he's not really a formal client of ours, but because of the things that we put out on the show, whether it's ideas, strategies, the amount of gym owners I hear, get feedback from, who like an idea or connect with the idea. It's a lot. You know how many of them show me that they did a thing? Fucking none. We talked about billboards, John. This is years ago. Just like, if you guys just try, billboards are so cheap now. Like, it's pretty reasonable. You don't have to, like, what does he do? Like, almost immediately, you got pictures, boom, billboard. And it was like almost like a shock one, if I remember. Like, it was really attention grabbing stuff for like, it was just a very, I like when a gym owner sees an idea and they want to execute on it. Right? We're not out here chasing squirrels. We're not out here chasing shit that doesn't matter. But it was, you know what? This is Mark. This is the thing I can try. I have some resources to put into it. I'm going to go. Did that. Talking about last week, posted a clip from this podcast onto this show and my personals about just on Instagram about results, right? You know, people see these testimonials, they get fired up, and that inspires. And that's the whole point. This is why we use these as marketing strategies. He took that audio clip. What's he do? He posts whole fucking like reel of before and after photos and videos from this
one after another.
If you ever wonder what type of fucking like what type of results you can get working with this guy, there it is. And it's decisive. And now, unfortunately, how many views this get? Like 700, right? These things, testimonials, before and after photos, unless they're like directly connected to the user and they get shared and get some momentum, especially on Instagram, they don't really fly off that much if we're only chasing reach, right? We're only chasing views and we're only chasing engagement. It doesn't matter as much. Don't worry when you're posting testimonials that are just people's words, client reviews that are just people's words, or before and after photos, people that maybe aren't popular or influential, even though they're really impressive. Don't get discouraged by view counts and likes or engagement. Continue to do enough of those things. And that is what you're known for. People see those, and that is the thing they remember. They just don't click the like button. They just don't click the share. People don't sit there and high five other people's accomplishments when it goes in the face of their own failures. So when I say, please, guys, keep doing before and after stuff. If you don't have any that you can do, that you can show, I think you need to look in the mirror and think that maybe you suck at your fucking job. Okay, remember that. Coaches and gym owners that can show me before and after photos. And if you can't show me before and after photos, that's fine. People respect their privacy. More than half of my clients are not going to cough up photos to me, right? I ask them to take them for themselves, but then I send them to me, and I'm not going to force it onto my female clients. I'm going to be like, send me pictures in the fucking half nude, dude. Like that.
Yeah, or your teenage clients.
Yeah, I'm like, show me, take off your shirt, little boy. It's fucking weird, man, right? But like, I do think that as a coach and gym owner, lean into that stuff. The algorithm is going to disincentivize you from doing it a little bit. The attention marketplace isn't going to come scrambling for all of this stuff. But I promise you, everyone sees this. I've been around long enough to know that when I post those things and the words and the amount of weight that these people have lost, that travels so far, because when I see other people in person, that's what they talk to me about. holy shit. I see people from 5 hours away who are like, man, I cannot believe some of the results your clients are getting. And I'm like, first off, never seen you click fucking like on one of these fucking things, right? Not a one, not a click. So don't be alarmed that those things don't like convert in some metric that matters. Yeah, what's his thing? Do you have this on here? This was Micah's billboard. Shirtless, jacked, says need results, text get fit direct to a phone number and the website. Like, I love it. Results is in the thing. Was that the first one?
65 weeks ago.
Okay, it was about right then. But that, guys, just lean into results. Nobody who's interested in joining a gym is interested in spinning their wheels, right? I can't wait to be a gym member. Nobody wants to be a member of a gym. Everyone wants to be, honestly, people like, I'd be fine, John, for the most part, if you told me like, Tyler, you can just look this jacked and you don't have to work out. I'd be like, nice. Okay. Shut it down, man. I'm done. I don't need to come in and work that hard. Like, happily. But nobody who doesn't know how to do any fitness is all that interested in just becoming a gym member or paying the coach just to have to come in and bust their ass all the time. That's not on the list of things that they're that interested in doing. But what they do want, results. They want the before and after. And nobody knows, like I said, talking about the personal trainers in my area, who are you going to turn to if you got 50 pounds to lose? If none of them even are publicly or openly about this life, let alone can show me that they can do it, that they're even capable of doing it. Not even that they want to, that they can do it, that it's possible. Fucking doesn't happen. Too many posers. Don't be one. Show me the results. Show your clients the results. Show your community the results. If you're going to market, that's the stuff that matters. That's the stuff that gets people in with a commitment too. It's not disingenuous. It's not shady. It has your client's best interest in mind. It has them coming in focused on success instead of focused on being distracted by, oh, we're going to teach you how to squat. Cool, man. I don't know. That's just a part of it. Knowing the best squat. I'm not going to the squat university guy if I got 50 pounds to lose. Right? It's just not it. Okay. It's just like, I'm sure I'll be squatting somewhere in this journey, but he's not the fucking guy. So if you have them, I'm telling you guys, this is your best free advice. Testimonials in words and before and after photos, saturate them. And those posts are going to be duds. They're going to be duds. They're not going to get a bunch of attention. They're not going to get a bunch of likes. They're not going to go the distance. Some of them may perform well, but not all of them. But it does not matter. That is when we talk about passing the fucking eye test, passing the sniff test. When someone sees you right away, does not matter how many likes are on those posts. Just like Micah's stuff, all those before and after results, it's fucking impressive. It's impressive. And if I'm in that area and I look like those people in those before pictures and I want to look like the people in those after photos, that does all the math for me. Not a price tag on that. And I'm still interested in doing business with the guy. So that is why that works. I think it's really, really, really important for people to lean into that.
And I would
try on the prize.
And I would challenge, if you're a gym owner and you've been listening, you're a coach, you're a personal trainer, you've been listening. We dump our brains into these episodes every single week, so you take them and do something with them. I promise you, we don't do this so we feel like we're super fucking smart. No. Talking about whatever it is that we're talking about. We do it because it's the most easily accessible piece of content for you to be able to understand what's exactly in our brains, what we know will work, because we want you to go fucking do it. Because if we didn't, we'd make our episodes 4 fucking minutes long.
Yes.
We would tell you fucking barely anything. We would introduce you to a thing, and then it would all live behind a paywall.
Yeah.
And fuck that. Because the reality is that if you're going to do business, if you eventually want to be able to do business with us, then God bless you. But if you want to take what we want to do, because this is coming from our days of working really, really hard behind the scenes and doing lots of things for people that eventually they just killed, where they never let it live. Mm-hmm. And I remember talking to Tyler. I'm like, Tyler, I am tired of doing things that are great, that are awesome, and watching people never let them see the light of day. They just are going to die, and they're going to die in the vine because they don't care. And it didn't matter to them as much as it mattered to me, who is making the thing. Yep. So that's why we put all the time and the energy into it, because we want to see these ideas. We know that they'll work, and we know that they're going to work for you. So we want you to be able to take them and run with them. And God damn it, tell us when you do them. Tell us when you put some of these things into action. Send them our way, because this is the thing. Like, we do the thing because we want it to be a ripple effect. We explained a long time ago what our goal
Tag
is.
us in those posts.
Yeah.
Tag us in the posts. Let us know your list, because I hear from gym owners all the time. Like, oh, big fan. We listened to the show for 2.5 years. And we're like, what are we at? Like 150 plus episodes now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, listen for 2.5, 3 years. Really love the show. And I was like, I've never seen you click like on anything, which is also fine. You don't got to be chasing social media stuff. But when your gym, if you're pumping some transformations, and if you're listening to this show and you're doing some shit that you think John and I would be proud of, send it to us. Tag us in it. Do whatever. Like, I'd like to see gyms doing these types of things. You don't got to pay us to just listen to this show and do the shit. But boy, it sure would be nice for John and I to know that we're not just screaming into the void. So Micah, props for taking that and running with it. All of you out there who I know are doing some of these things, just stay focused on the things that matter. Let us know when you execute one of these strategies, because it also gives us some good fodder to talk about on the show. Gives us chances to see how some of these things work in different markets. Basically, just because they work. Don't fucking hear good advice and just sit on it. What a fucking waste. So thanks a lot for listening, everybody. You want to follow the show on Instagram, follow the show at the Gym Owners Podcast on Instagram. The show is also on YouTube now, full video episodes. Right? Even the new ones yet?
Those are slowly
audio
trickling
first,
out.
We're getting them caught up.
But being able to start getting them over on, I think Spotify allows those video episodes to be there too. So we're slowly being able to put those out there as well.
Okay.
We're so technologically advanced over here.
Audio only. I got a face for audio. So thanks for listening. Follow me at Tyler F. and Stone. This Tyler EFFI and Stone. If you do want to work with us directly, okay, message us at thedudes@hackyourgym.com or on Instagram at the Gym Owners Podcast. John, how can they get a hold of you?
You can follow me at jbanksfl.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week.